All right, so today we're going to be diving deep into the world of berberine.
Yeah.
You're interested in the different types of berberine supplements out there.
Right.
And we've got a whole bunch of research articles to help us unpack this.
That's right.
So we'll figure out which one might be right for you.
Exactly.
So for anyone who might be new to this whole thing,
Sure.
let's just start with some basics. What exactly is berberine?
Berberine is a natural compound. You can find it in plants like golden seal and barberry. It's been used in traditional medicine for centuries.
Wow.
But it's really gaining traction now because of its potential to help with things like blood sugar control,
Oh, wow.
cholesterol, and even some promising research on its role in fighting certain diseases.
It sounds like a real multitasker.
It is.
But I've heard that regular berberine isn't absorbed very well by the body.
Right.
Is that where dhBBR and LMB come in?
Exactly. Regular berberine has notoriously low bioavailability,
Okay.
meaning our bodies have a hard time using it effectively. dhBBR and LMB are like upgraded versions designed to overcome that absorption hurdle
Okay.
and deliver more berberine to our system where it can actually do its thing.
So it's not just about how much berberine you take, but how well your body can actually use it.
Exactly.
Let's unpack these enhanced versions one by one. First up, dihydroberberine.
Okay.
Or dhBBR. What makes it different from plain old berberine?
Think of dhBBR as berberine that's been given a little chemical tweak to make it more absorbable.
Oh, okay.
One study we have here found that dhBBR reached a peak concentration in the blood 9 times higher than standard berberine.
9 times higher. That's a pretty dramatic difference.
It is?
So how does it actually work? Does it just get absorbed more easily in the digestive tract?
It does, but there's another fascinating aspect to it.
Okay.
dhBBR can actually convert back into regular berberine once it's in the gut with the help of our gut bacteria.
So our gut bacteria are actually playing a role in making dhBBR more effective. That's incredible.
Yep.
It seems like the more we learn about the gut microbiome, the more we realize how interconnected it is with everything else in our body.
Absolutely.
And speaking of effectiveness, some studies have shown that dhBBR can be even more effective than regular berberine in certain situations,
Right.
particularly when it comes to blood sugar control.
Yeah.
Researchers have seen improvements in glucose tolerance and lower blood sugar levels in obese and diabetic mice, even at lower doses of dhBBR compared to regular berberine.
Yes.
Okay, now that's really interesting. If someone is specifically looking for help with blood sugar management, it sounds like dhBBR might be the way to go.
Potentially.
But we've got another contender here, Micellar berberine, or LMB.
Yes.
How does this one work? It's magic.
LMB takes a slightly different approach. Instead of chemically modifying the berberine itself, it uses this clever delivery system called micelles.
Okay.
Imagine tiny little bubbles that encapsulate the berberine and help it travel through the digestive system more efficiently, protecting it from being broken down too early.
So it's like giving the berberine a special suit of armor to help it reach its destination intact.
Exactly.
Does this mean that LMB also achieves higher blood levels of berberine compared to the regular form?
Yes. In fact, research shows that LMB leads to significantly higher blood levels of berberine.
Okay.
One study found that LMB reached a concentration about 10 times higher than standard berberine.
Wow, 10 times.
Yeah.
So both dhBBR and LMB seem to be champions when it comes to bioavailability.
Yes.
This is where I get curious. Are there any noticeable differences between the two and how they work in the body?
Yeah.
Is one better for certain things than the other?
That's a fantastic question.
Yeah.
And it leads us to a really intriguing pilot study that directly compared dhBBR and LMB.
Okay.
The researchers found that both formulations were highly bioavailable,
Okay.
but there were some interesting differences in how they broke down in the body. We call this their metabolite profile.
Okay.
Essentially, what happens to the berberine once it's in our system and starts being processed.
Okay, I'm all ears. What kind of differences did they find? Does this mean that even though both are well absorbed, they might have slightly different effects?
Precisely. One key observation was that dhBBR led to higher blood concentrations of most berberine metabolites.
Okay.
This suggests that it might have a stronger direct effect on various processes in the body.
Gotcha.
On the other hand, LMB resulted in a higher proportion of unmetabolized berberine,
Okay.
meaning more of it might be directly interacting with our gut. It's almost like choosing which pathway you want to emphasize the direct effects of the metabolites in the bloodstream or the impact of the berberine itself on the gut microbiome.
So dhBBR floods the system with those active metabolites,
Right.
while LMB might be more of a gut-focused player.
Yeah.
This is getting really interesting. I think we need to delve into that gut microbiome connection a bit more.
Sure.
That seems like a key piece of the puzzle.
Absolutely. And it's an area where we're learning more all the time. Stay tuned because in the next part of our deep dive, we'll unpack how these different forms of berberine interact with the gut microbiome and what that means for your health.
I can't wait. Okay, so we're back and ready to explore the world of the gut microbiome.
Yeah.
Before the break, we were talking about how dhBBR and LMB interact differently with our gut bacteria.
Right.
This is where I feel like things could get really interesting.
You're absolutely right.
Wow.
Recent research has shown that the gut microbiome plays a huge role in how berberine works its magic.
Okay.
It turns out that berberine and its metabolites can actually shift the composition of our gut bacteria.
Wow.
And these changes can have a big impact on our overall health.
Okay, so it's not just that berberine is doing something directly in our bodies,
Right.
but it's also influencing this whole ecosystem of bacteria in our gut.
Exactly.
I'm trying to wrap my head around how that actually works.
Think of it this way. Our gut is home to trillions of bacteria, both good and bad.
Okay.
These bacteria play a crucial role in everything, from digestion and nutrient absorption to immune function and even mental health. Berberine seems to act like a gardener,
Oh, okay.
promoting the growth of beneficial bacteria while keeping the harmful ones in check.
So it's like weeding the garden and planting beneficial seeds. That makes sense.
Exactly.
I've heard a lot about certain types of bacteria being particularly good for us, like Akkermansia.
Yeah,
Does berberine have any effect on those?
that's a great question. And it's something that's really exciting researchers right now.
Okay.
There's growing evidence that berberine, in its various forms,
Yeah.
can indeed promote the growth of Akkermansia mucinifila,
Okay.
which is linked to improved metabolic health, reduced inflammation, and even better gut barrier function.
So it's like berberine is giving a boost to these already helpful bacteria, allowing them to flourish and do even more good in our gut.
Exactly.
Now, I know we talked about how LMB delivers a higher proportion of unmetabolized berberine to the gut compared to dhBBR.
Right.
Does that mean LMB might be even better at promoting these beneficial bacteria?
That's a very astute observation.
Okay.
And it's something that researchers are actively investigating.
Yeah.
While we don't have definitive answers yet,
Sure.
it's certainly plausible that LMB, with its targeted delivery to the gut, could have a more pronounced effect on the microbiome.
Okay.
It's like choosing the right tool for the job.
Right.
If your primary goal is to nurture a healthy gut microbiome, LMB might be a particularly strategic option.
Okay, so LMB could be the MVP for gut health enthusiasts.
Yeah,
But let's not forget about dhBBR.
right.
Remember, one of the main reasons people are drawn to berberine is its potential for blood sugar control.
Yeah,
And dhBBR seems to be quite effective in that area.
absolutely. We discussed those promising studies in mice where dhBBR improved glucose tolerance and reduced blood sugar levels,
Yeah.
even at lower doses than regular berberine.
Right.
And while we need more research in humans to confirm these findings, the early evidence is very encouraging.
So dhBBR seems to excel at blood sugar regulation.
Yes.
But this is where I get a little confused. If LMB is delivering more berberine directly to the gut and less to the bloodstream where it gets metabolized, how does it stack up when it comes to blood sugar control?
That's an excellent question.
Yeah.
And it highlights the complexity of how these different forms of berberine work.
Okay.
Remember, even though LMB might not be delivering as much berberine directly to the bloodstream,
Yeah.
it's still influencing the gut microbiome.
Right.
And those changes in the gut can have systemic effects, including on blood sugar regulation.
So it's not just about how much berberine reaches the bloodstream directly, but also about the ripple effects it creates in the gut that then impact other systems in the body.
Precisely. And it's important to remember that those metabolites we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
the ones that dhBBR delivers more readily to the bloodstream,
Right.
also play a role in blood sugar control.
Okay.
Some of them, like berberine, have been shown to have direct effects on glucose metabolism.
So it's like a multi-pronged attack on blood sugar dysregulation. dhBBR is hitting it hard with those metabolites,
Yeah.
while LMB is working behind the scenes to modulate the gut microbiome, which then indirectly influences blood sugar.
Exactly.
Okay.
And interestingly, some research suggests that berberine's effects on blood sugar might actually be mediated,
Okay.
at least in part, by its impact on the gut microbiome.
Gotcha.
We talked about its potential to promote the growth of akkermansia, right?
Yeah,
Well,
totally.
there's a growing body of evidence suggesting that akkermansia can actually play a role in improving insulin sensitivity,
Okay.
which is crucial for regulating blood sugar.
Wow, it's like a chain reaction of positive effects.
It is.
Berberine promotes akkermansia. Akkermansia improves insulin sensitivity. And voila, better blood sugar control.
It's a beautiful example of how interconnected our bodies are.
Yeah.
And how seemingly small changes in one area can have cascading effects throughout the system.
Absolutely.
And this brings us to another fascinating area of research, the role of berberine in cholesterol management.
Okay, I'm ready for another layer of this berberine puzzle. Bring on the cholesterol connection.
All right, so we know that berberine has been shown to help lower cholesterol levels,
Go.
particularly LDL cholesterol,
Okay.
which is often referred to as the bad cholesterol.
Gotcha.
But what's interesting is that dhBBR and LMB might be working through different mechanisms to achieve this.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Break it down for me. How are they tackling cholesterol differently?
Well, one study found that dhBBR actually helped counteract increases in adiposity,
Okay.
that's fat accumulation, and tissue triglyceride levels in rodents fed a high-fat diet.
Okay.
So it might be helping to prevent the buildup of fat in the body,
Yeah.
which can have a positive ripple effect on cholesterol levels.
So DHBBR is like a preemptive strike against those unhealthy fat deposits.
Exactly. Now with LMB, remember how it delivers a higher proportion of unmetabolized berberine to the gut?
Right.
Well, there's some research suggesting that berberine's effects on cholesterol might also be linked to its impact on the gut microbiome. Some gut bacteria actually contribute to the production of cholesterol.
Oh, wow.
So by modulating the gut microbiome,
Yeah.
LMB could be indirectly influencing cholesterol levels.
It's like LMB is going after cholesterol from both angles by potentially reducing fat accumulation through DHBBR and by tweaking the gut microbiome to produce less cholesterol.
You've got it.
Yeah.
And this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to berberine's potential.
Right.
There's a growing body of research exploring its benefits for a whole range of conditions.
Wow.
From inflammation and cognitive function to even cancer.
Okay, now you're really making me want to know more.
Yeah.
But I think we'll save those fascinating topics for the final part of our deep dive. Stay tuned, listeners, because there's much more berberine brilliance to come. All right, so welcome back to the final part of our berberine deep dive.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground, from bioavailability to the gut microbiome.
Right.
We even touched on blood sugar and cholesterol.
Yep.
Now, I'm excited to dig into some of the other potential benefits of berberine that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, it's amazing how much research is emerging on this natural compound.
Yeah.
One area that's particularly intriguing is berberine's potential as an anti-inflammatory agent.
Okay.
We know that chronic inflammation is a silent culprit behind many diseases.
Right.
So finding safe and effective ways to combat it is crucial.
Absolutely. It's like a slow burn in the body that can lead to all sorts of problems down the road.
Exactly.
So how does berberine fit into this picture?
Well, there's evidence that berberine can inhibit something called the NFB pathway,
Okay.
which is like a master regulator of inflammation in the body.
Gotcha.
By blocking this pathway, berberine can help dampen down the inflammatory response.
Okay.
It's like turning down the volume on an overactive immune system.
So it's not just addressing the symptoms of inflammation, but actually getting to the root of the problem. That's impressive.
Exactly. And what's even more fascinating is that some of berberine's anti-inflammatory effects might be linked to its impact on the gut microbiome.
Oh.
Remember how we talked about berberine promoting the growth of beneficial bacteria?
Yeah.
Well, those beneficial bacteria can actually help reduce inflammation in the gut,
Okay.
and that reduction can have a ripple effect throughout the entire body.
It all circles back to the gut, doesn't it?
It really does.
It really is a central player in our overall health.
It is.
And speaking of interconnectedness, there's also growing interest in berberine's potential benefits for cognitive health.
Yes.
Particularly in conditions like Alzheimer's disease.
Right.
Okay, now this is where I get really curious. The brain-gut connection is such a hot topic these days.
It is.
What's the link between berberine and brain health?
One of the hallmarks of Alzheimer's disease is the accumulation of amyloid plaques in the brain.
Yeah.
And some research suggests that berberine might be able to help reduce the formation of these plaques.
Okay.
It's like clearing out the clutter that can interfere with healthy brain function.
So it's not just about memory and cognitive function,
Hmm.
but potentially even protecting against neurodegenerative diseases. That's huge.
It's an area that needs more research, but the initial findings are certainly promising.
Okay.
And once again, the gut microbiome might be playing a supporting role.
Right.
Emerging research suggests that imbalances in the gut microbiome can contribute to inflammation in the brain,
Wow.
which can exacerbate neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
By promoting a healthy gut microbiome, berberine might be indirectly protecting the brain as well.
It's like taking care of your gut is taking care of your brain at the same time.
Exactly.
Makes you realize how interconnected our bodies truly are.
Absolutely. And this brings us to another exciting area of research, berberine's potential role in cancer.
Okay.
Now, it's crucial to emphasize that we're still in the very early stages of research here,
Yeah.
and we're definitely not suggesting that berberine is a cure for cancer.
Of course.
But some of the preliminary findings are certainly intriguing.
I understand. We're not talking about miracle cures, but exploring potential avenues for prevention and support.
Exactly.
So what have researchers observed so far?
Some studies have shown that berberine can inhibit the growth of certain cancer cells
Yeah.
and might even induce apoptosis,
Okay.
which is essentially programmed cell death,
Yeah.
way for the body to get rid of damaged or abnormal cells.
So it's like berberine is helping the body's natural defenses do their job more effectively.
That's a great way to put it. And, as you might have guessed, the gut microbiome might be playing a supporting role here, too.
Okay.
A healthy gut microbiome is crucial for a strong immune system.
Right.
And a strong immune system is key for fighting off cancer.
Yeah.
By promoting a healthy gut, berberine could be indirectly bolstering the body's defenses against cancer.
It's incredible how berberine seems to have such far-reaching effects. From blood sugar and cholesterol to inflammation,
Yeah.
cognitive function, and even potentially cancer. It's like a multi-talented health superhero.
It really is remarkable. And the most exciting part is that we're still uncovering new possibilities.
Wow.
As research continues, we're likely to discover even more ways that berberine can support our health and well-being.
So, as we wrap up our berberine deep dive, what are the key takeaways that you want our listeners to remember?
First and foremost, berberine,
Yeah.
whether in its regular form, dhBBR, or LMB, is a powerful natural compound with a remarkable range of potential health benefits.
Yeah,
It's not a one-trick pony.
exactly. It's a multitasker extraordinaire.
Precisely. It can help regulate blood sugar, support healthy cholesterol levels, combat inflammation, and potentially even contribute to cognitive health and cancer prevention.
And let's not forget the gut microbiome connection.
Right.
Berberine's ability to modulate the gut microbiome seems to be a key player in many of its benefits.
Couldn't agree more. A healthy gut is truly the foundation for overall health and well-being.
Yeah.
And berberine seems to be a valuable ally in cultivating that healthy gut ecosystem.
So listeners, if you're looking to support your health naturally, berberine is definitely worth exploring.
Yeah.
Remember, when choosing between dhBBR and LMB, consider your individual health goals.
Right.
dhBBR might be more potent for blood sugar control or systemic inflammation,
Okay.
while LMB might be more strategic for gut health and promoting those beneficial bacteria like Akkermansia.
Excellent advice. And as with any supplement, it's always wise to consult with your healthcare provider before adding it to your regimen.
Yeah.
Especially if you have any underlying health conditions or are taking medications.
Safety first, always.
Yes.
Well, I don't know about you, but I feel like I've learned so much about berberine today.
Me too.
It's truly a fascinating compound with so much potential.
Absolutely.
And listeners, as always, we encourage you to continue your own exploration.
Right.
The world of health and wellness is full of exciting discoveries waiting to be made.
Yeah.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay healthy.